Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo-Wop, a podcast where we talk about pop music, specifically by deep diving a randomly chose UK singles top 10 from the past. We've been around and around, got a brand new swing, and it seems your attitude has changed. I guess now it's time to ponder on our thoughts today, because they hold sway before we leave it all behind now. I'm Andy Robinson.
And I'm James Cook.
And what UK top 10 from the past are we talking about this week, James?
We're looking at the top 10 from the 10th of May 1995.
10th of May 1995, you say? I'm partially asking just to reiterate and get that in people's minds. Should we bother with any that sort of podcast, what you've been up to this week?
No one's interested. Let's just get into it. So 10th of May 1995, where were you, Andy Robinson?
10th of May 1995, I'm going to say I was out and about in the world. I'd not long was delving into the world of, let's call it, performance, if that's what you want to call driving around pubs and clubs and being told to F off by drunk people. I'm being derogatory, of course. I was enjoying the start of my burgeoning stand-up, shall we call it career, or just series of jobs?
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
What about yourself?
I will have just been doing my A-levels. I wasn't even 18 at that time. I was 17 still.
Right age for enjoying the pop charts, saying that 17, isn't it?
You'd think so. You'd think so.
I'm going to say I was as well, starting in my career, but of course I didn't start doing stand-up till I was 74. I literally bought with my hard-earned money 3 singles in this top 10. Did you spend any money on this?
No, but my brother did, and we will get into that
All right, cool.
As and when. Got some stats for you?
I love your stats.
There are 4 UK number ones in this top 10. There are 2 new entries, a re-entry, and only 1 song has gone up and 6 have gone down for a total net movement of -6. There are 4 American artists, 3 British, an Australian, a Cuban, an Irish and an Italian. There are 5 groups, 3 solo artists, a duo and an orchestra.
By my reckoning, there are 4 songs about the complexities of love, 2 songs about optimism, 2 songs celebrating old times, at least musically, 1 song promising a murder, and 1 song about the intoxicating power of an oscillating posterior. However, there is only 1 key change this week, surprisingly, but there are 2 examples of self-reference, so I'm grateful for them. You can listen to these beautiful songs in the top 10 by looking in our descriptions and clicking on the Spotify or the YouTube playlist. And also, there's extra songs for our Patreon members, isn't there, James?
That's right. We've got special bonus tracks on our Bonus Tracks podcast featuring an unknown rapper, a biblical cat, the secret to eternal happiness, and the first ever viral music video. You can join our Patreon community for free. The Bonus Tracks podcast costs less than a Frappuccino a month.
Less than a Frappuccino a month? That came out in 1995, James, as far as I know. The old Frappuccino.
It did. That's why I mentioned it.
Nice work. Don't stop moving, baby.
Number 10.
At number 10, a new entry, and as high as it's ever going to get, that's Lenny by Supergrass.
I counted 60 guitar crunches before it actually starts.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like that's how it starts. And you're going, oh, when's it going to start? Does it kick in now? Kick in now?
We can do this a little bit, can't we, without going any copyright? Essentially, the first 25, 30 seconds of it is going dun, 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 isn't it?
Yeah.
So much so that I was playing it to somebody and they thought it had skipped to like an old CD skip.
Yeah. Or it's like, is this going to be the whole song?
Yeah. It's thrilling, though, isn't it? I mean, the songwriter Max Martin.
Yes.
Well, he's achieved, for those who don't know, I have to say that because you already know, and it feels weird explaining it to you. Anyway, but he's got a thing with his songwriting formula, which is pretty good. He's written loads of songs. You'd know loads of his songs. But he's got a thing about get to the chorus within the first minute. I mean, the first half minute of this is 1 note. They are not doing the Max Martin school, are they? And also, I'm going to say, what do you think the chorus is to this song?
Really doesn't have a chorus, does it? It has some repeating refrains, doesn't it?
Yeah, not a chorus you'd speak of as such anyway. I mean, it's an interesting song.
And it is only 2 minutes 41 seconds long. So if you take away all the guitar crunches, what's that? It's only 2 minutes 10, which is short.
Yeah.
And actually, they've shot themselves in the foot there, Supergrass, because it would be...
with their top 10 hits.
It would be so much better if that song was 2 minutes long. Do you know why?
No, go on.
It would get loads more radio play.
Go on.
Because of trying to back time to the end of the hour, there are songs that are really short that often go, oh, we've got 2 minutes, quick, put on a 2-minute song.
Okay.
And so songs like that, so Happy Hour by the House Martins, Hanging on the Telephone by Blondie, Roll to Me by Delamitri, often get wheeled out by radio stations just as they're coming up to the news so that they can back time properly. Lenny by Supergrass could have been one of those songs.
Cool. An introduction that we share between each other each week. I called you comedian. I should have said comedian and radio DJ. That's good inside knowledge, that is.
I haven't done that for 13 years, though.
Oh, well. Oh, well.
That's why I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, like I say, it's a thrilling record, isn't it? Like I say, this is one of the 3 singles I bought. Supergrass, the album it came from. I Should Coco. I love that album. I think that's chock full of, each song's great. There was a B-side I remember on this single called Sex, which I liked a lot. A little...
That's rude.
Well, quite. Silly little country song they did, though. And, that was in the days when singles and B-sides would have a heft, which we will talk about later, I'm sure.
You put it on vinyl single?
No, CD single.
Oh, CD single, okay. This is, you say about the album I Should Coco that this is from. This is the 4th of 5 singles.
Yeah, right.
From that album.
Which might account for its quick whack in the charts, and then it scooted off again. Everybody who's going to buy it is bought the album.
Up to this point, it is the most successful single off the album.
Really?
Because incredibly, All Right is the 5th single from that album.
Really?
You'd think it was the first one, wouldn't you?
Well, absolutely. You think they're already defined, because it's such a, not a weak song, but it's an unusual song, isn't it? You think, well, it must be Supergrass, but great to know they're in top 10 before they dropped All Right.
Yeah. All Right is the one that follows this a couple of months later. Do you know why it's called Lenny?
Nope.
No, nor me. Couldn't find out.
Should we just leave it there rather than talk about famous Lennys? I mean, that's what a podcast could do now, isn't it? Is it about Lenny Kravitz? Is it about Lenny Bruce? Is it about Lenny Henry? Is it about Lenny Bennett?
I've literally got all that written here.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Okay.
It's bananas, that type of content.
I've also got Lenny from The Simpsons, Lenny the Lion. I've got Lenny Henry's single that he released. The non-ironic soul song he did.
Which one?
Is it called Can't Help Thinking About It?
Cool. Are you going to dig into Lenny Henry a little bit?
No,
nor me. Thanks, Lenny, for everything you've done. He's a good singer, I think. He even made one of the greatest songs of all time, which is Bad Jokes.
Which was the B-side of the song.
Well, while you're on Spotify, hopefully listen to the top 10 we're rabbiting on about. Have a little YouTube of Lenny Henry, Bad Jokes, because that's a great performance. And I'm going to say this hand on heart, a great song. I love Lenny Henry.
Have you met him?
I did a warm-up for a television show he did once in somewhere. It was like a Lenny Henry on the road type of thing. I was sort of new to it, really. Maybe we're even around 10th of May 95, for, let's call it continuity's sake. He was lovely, though. Met him beforehand. He shook my hand, said, yeah, don't do any effing and jeffing. Leave that to me like a pro,
I'm seeing if Bad Jokes is on Spotify.
No,
it isn't.
No. Like I say, YouTube it. If you're interested, sorry we can't play a bit. What's your favourite bad joke? Maybe we should have just a bad joke. Because this song Lenny Henry's got is full of bad jokes to I'm going to call it a funky Motown soul backing. It's opening for a show. It was exciting. Since we can't play Lenny Henry...
My favourite bad joke from the song Bad Jokes?
No, just generally.
I think it's the same one.
Okay.
Man is in his hospital bed, wakes up. And the doctor says, I've got some good news and some bad news. He says, what's the bad news? He says, you were in a terrible accident and we've had to amputate both your legs. He says, what's the good news? He says, the man in the next bed wants to buy your slippers.
You feel like busting out with some bad jokes. Bad jokes. Thanks, Len.
Number 9.
At 9, their last of 9 weeks in the top 10, having peaked at number 1, it's the Out Here Brothers and Don't Stop, brackets, wiggle, wiggle, close brackets. Their second number 1 after Boom, Boom, Boom.
I liked Boom, 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 I remember.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought they were called the Uthere Brothers.
The album that this is off, which is called One Polish, Two Biscuits and a Fish Sandwich, was reported to the Crown Prosecution Service under the Obscene Publications Act. If you want to know why, I mean, you can just Google the track listing. I don't want to say it.
You
didn't even write it down.
You love a bit of research. I'm going to Google it while you carry on talking. And what you're saying, the track listing to the poll, what's it called? Two fish fingers and a what?
Yeah.
Polish a fish finger and what's it called?
One Polish.
I'm disappointed, James. You love a bit of research, and what you've done there is bottle out of reading some dirty title. There was a dirty version of this song, I seem to remember.
Yeah, I've got the track listing in front of me.
Yeah, do it. I'd like to hear you squirming.
Do you want the whole track listing?
Why not?
Or just edited highlights?
Whatever you feel.
All right.
Hey, let's not rush into this. Let's delve what we think each song is going to be about.
Well, it starts off quite nicely. The first track on the album is called I Miss You.
Nice.
Standard. And then you got the 2 hits. So you got Don't Stop Wiggle Wiggle, followed by Boom Boom Boom. Then I think a song that I think they also released as a single called La La La, Hey Hey. Then a song called Bring That Ass Over Here. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Number 6 is a song called I Want My Shit Back.
I'm hoping that's a breakup song where the partner has taken their possessions rather than another meaning of it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
7 is called Lesbian Love. LES, new word, BE, new word, IN.
Nice.
Number 8, Let Me Be the One. Number 9, On My Mind. They're all right, aren't they? Number 10, Pass the Toilet Paper. Number 11 is a song called Orgasm.
Right. Like the Buzzcocks.
Yeah, they did Orgasm Addict, don't they? I mean, 3 Feet High and Rising has got Della Orgy on it.
Yeah.
Number 12 is a song called Out Here Brothers theme song. Wouldn't that be number 1 in the track listing? But there you go. It's at number 12. Number 13 is called Golden Shower. Number 14 is called Fat, Fat, Fat. Each time that's fat with a PH. Track 15, Interlude, The Hallie Jones Show.
Hallie Jones? Who Hallie Jones?
I don't know.
I recognise the name. Shall we Google it, or shall we just presume we're going to fuck this bit off in the edit?
The last 2 tracks on the album are called I'll Lick Your Pussy and F*** You in the Ass.
Right, there we go.
Brackets Bend Over Mix.
Nice work out there, brothers.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind suggestive lyrics. I mean, pop songs are about sex. Of course, we know that. But do you have to be so blatantly graphic and disgusting?
I bet there's loads of songs you love which are more blatant than that.
Well, then F*** you in the ass and pass the toilet paper.
Don't know what pass the toilet paper's about. It could be just a heartfelt plea to the world. Do you know when we were all going mad during the lockdown? It was all so expensive. It might have been predicting.
The Out Here Brothers predicted lockdown.
And sharing the notion rather than capitalism, just spending loads on toilet paper, sharing it.
So you mentioned that there's a dirtier version of Don't Stop Wiggle Wiggle.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, there is. The one we've listened to is the radio edit. That's what's on the Spotify playlist. Right. The radio edit of this song only really has 2 lines in it. It's all about a gentleman who is appealing to a lady friend not to cease wiggling her posterior because it is making him lose his mental faculties. And then another bloke just starts yelling the word energy over and over again.
I was going to mention this. That's like the middle eight or the bridge in it. Like going, energy. I'm terribly sorry out there, brothers, if we've just broken your copyright law for that bit of beauty. My apologies.
It's like the world's worst motivational speaker. Just about to go out before a game.
I have to say, I've got this thing. It might be the first time I mentioned it. It certainly won't be the last. Nile Rodgers, right? He of Chic has got a thing that any song in the top 40 is a good song because it has communicated with enough people, especially in those days, to spend their hard-earned money on it. I am trying to keep that in mind, you know. Out there, brothers, with this song, I'd listened to it maybe 3 or 4 times. It began to annoy me more every time I heard it. People who liked it must have been on different drugs to me at the time. That's what I'm saying.
It's like the opposite of a song that grows on you. As a sonic experience, it is like they have found the drum setting on their Casio keyboard that's labelled most annoying drum sound.
I agree with you, but it feels to me like a migraine approach in this song. But it's number 999.
It had been at number 1 as well.
Had it?
Maybe it's because of the unedited version.
Okay.
In the unedited version, it goes into more specifics about the endeavours that the young gentleman wishes to pursue with the lady. On the plus side, he does appear to be concerned with her pleasure.
Have you got the lyrics?
Oh, do I have to get the lyrics out?
I love it, James, because you're so keen on research usually and digging into the lyrics, but I like the fact that the Out There Brothers somehow have a step too far.
I find it very grubby. It's not sexy, is it?
Yeah. Well, you know, enough people for it to be number 1. If sexiness is a thing that they were trying to purchase, maybe we just don't know enough about wiggle. I think you can book them for functions, the Out There Brothers, still. I think they're...
I found the rude...
Yeah, go on.
Put your ass on my face. I love the way your p*** tastes. Girl, you know you are the one. Take that ass and make me...
I like it. Mainly, I like your discomfort having to read that in a little room with me. I noticed you weren't looking me in the eyes.
Nope. So the Out Here Brothers, not really brothers. They might be out there. We don't know. Yeah. Is it out there or out here?
How's it spelt? Let me have a little
There's only
look.
one T, as far as I'm aware.
Out here then. Uthere brothers. Maybe I was right.
They are Keith Malik Mabry and Lamar Hula Mahoney. Keith Mabry co-wrote Boom Shake the Room for
Did
DJ
he?
Jazzy
Did
Jeff
he?
and the Fresh Prince.
That's a great song.
I'm guessing he wrote the boom part. Lamar Mahone co-wrote Summertime for DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And according to his Instagram, he makes music for the cigar culture.
That's a good little bit that they both contributed to, let's call it the comedian beating Will Smith.
Yeah, and those are two great songs. Love
Yeah.
Summertime, love Boom Boom Shake the Room.
Yep.
Gets the party going, doesn't it?
Great
even
words.
even now, 30 years later.
Well, there's such great words to Boom Shake the Room. So why the words to this? Energy, 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 energy. Sorry out there, brothers, for copyright.
I just find this song so depressing.
You meant to dance to this. This isn't a song for sitting around and listening to. This is a dance record, let's be honest.
But I don't even think it's a good dance
It
record.
must be, 'cause it was number one and loads of people bought
Well,
it.
yeah, but did they buy it? Because at that point, a song with those lyrics, that was a rarity, and there was kind of, ooh, this is naughty. We're not supposed to be listening to that. I mean, nowadays, anything goes way more, but in 1995, I think things were slightly more different on the mainstream pop music scene. One of the things we talked about when we were deciding to do this podcast was that we wanted to be positive about pop music and to be a celebration. I found it really, really hard to celebrate this.
It's tricky.
Number 8.
Down 4. Having peaked at number 3, it's Two Can Play That Game by Bobby Brown.
Yes, and I tell you what, after the Out Here Brothers, this coming on was like Brahms or something, something incredibly soothing. Remixed by K-Class. Do you know who they are?
Mylene's brothers. I do not know. I'm being stupid.
They're 4 blokes from Wrexham and Chester.
Really?
Yeah. And they breathed new life into this song because the original version of this song that's on the album sounds very different and it is not as poppy
Right.
as this version, which is like a pop dance classic, isn't it?
Oh, really is? It's only a little 2-chorder, though. It's a very simple song. What's your favourite bit in it? I like the fact that you're self-referential and he says Bobby's got a brand new swing in it. I like that. I like that tradition of...
What do you think his brand new swing is?
Well, I don't know, because the lyrics, I think, essentially, he's annoyed with his partner, his lover, isn't he? And he's suggesting that two can be mean.
Has she been unfaithful, do we think?
I don't know.
And he's saying that he's going to be also?
No, I don't
Or is
know.
is it not got to that point?
I don't know. To be honest, I was not so interested in the lyrics, but I was interested in the sound and the way it made me feel. What do you know about Bobby Brown? He's a wrong un, isn't he? I've got.
I don't think we can say that.
Can we not?
I don't know what you have.
Is he a troubled man?
He's a trouble man.
He's not
When he was 14, Bobby Brown sang on the first single I ever bought,
Which was?
Candy Girl by New Edition. And then obviously he becomes a solo artist, does the music for Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But the single from it?
Yeah.
Which has got all the plot in and the rap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that song.
They came up against Vigo, the Master of Evil, tried to battle my boys. That's not legal. He has been arrested at least 15 times and sentenced to prison time at least 6 times.
Right.
Married Whitney Houston and gave the tabloid stories for years.
Yeah.
I mean, how much can you really know about the internal wranglings of a relationship?
I get you. You are stepping away from the judgment.
Well, I'm not.
I like it, James.
I'm just
If you are.
I'm just stating the facts. I don't want to get all tabloidy about it because I don't think that helps.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
A troubled man who clearly did some bad things. It doesn't matter how catchy this song is, doesn't forgive those.
Number 7.
Down 1 from a peak of 6, Chains by Tina Arena. Fun fact, Tina Arena's brother is called Damien Stadium.
I got some things that, but this is how weak they are. They weren't even as good as that.
What have you got?
No.
No, what have you got?
I've got silly things like going up Tina Arena later and stuff like that. Anyway, what do you make of this song? If you can be bothered to switch platforms, have a little listen to it now.
It's a lot slower paced than I remember.
Well, quite. This is a song of two halves, isn't it? Again, using the old Max Martin Supergrass singer. The first 45 seconds of this go nowhere, the introduction. It's going, ooh, bit much better, much more skillfully, more melodic than that. But, nonetheless. Again, my apologies, Tina, if I've just infringed your copyright.
Yeah, that's why you had to sing it so badly, so that we don't get done for copyright.
Yeah. And then it goes on for a bit, and I was thinking, oh, man. And then halfway through, there's a key change, and this song becomes something beautiful, and almost the suspense and the delay before you're halfway through is kind of worth it. I got into it surprisingly. isn't it, this song? It made me think I must have turned it off or walked away from Top of the Pops when it was on back in the day, because it's pretty drab for my tastes for the beginning, and then something magic happens halfway through.
It grows, it becomes epic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does it remind you of any other songs from around that era?
It does remind me of something, but no, what songs are you thinking of?
Because the guy who produced this, Dave Tyson, also produced the song Black Velvet by Alana Miles,
I get ya.
which feels tonally similar.
Yeah, you can sort of see certain tropes and
Yeah.
dynamics in that. Okay, good fact. It reminds me of all the songs about chains in the past, like Carole King, and she wrote a song, Chains, My Baby's Got Me Locked Up in Chains, and Unchain My Heart, Ray Charles, and there's a lot of songs about being a prisoner.
Yeah,
and
working on a chain gang.
Sam Cooke in love with all the prisoners.
Yeah.
All right. These are chain gangs. I'm on about the chains of the heart. I'm
Okay.
on about, the notion. There's a song coming up which will relate to this. That's a little bit of suspense, isn't it? I'm going to say there's another song that continues this metaphor of a prisoner of love.
The first few lines set up that it's a metaphor. But after that, if you join the song after those lines, it is just a woman who sounds like she's genuinely been imprisoned
Really?
against her will.
Really? I'm going to have a
Yeah.
look.
This is, at the beginning, it's like the first two lines are, this is all a metaphor, by the way. And then the rest of it is, I'm in chains, I'm in a dungeon, I can't get out.
But, she's established the metaphorical conceit, yeah?
Is it a cry for help?
Do we need to ask for Angela Tina? Do you know, this is weird. This has happened since doing this. I heard a friend of mine, singing Tina Arena. I said, I'm talking about that song this week, weirdly enough, because it's, let's face it, an unusual song, isn't it? And then my mate said, she's done a lot of good work for women, actually, and promoting women in the music industry. And I thought, well, that's my research done for this song, thanks. I thought I'd tell you, and hopefully you've come up with something. But
She has, yeah, that is definitely a part. She's done a lot of advocacy work. So it's, basically, Tina Arena, to give her a real name, Filipina Lydia Arena. She was a child star in Australia from when she was about 8. Yeah. She used to appear on TV doing singing and that. She became like a pop star in the 90s, huge in Australia, had this hit here and in the US. And then after that, did a lot of good work for women in music, and calling out bad behaviour and promoting other women.
She would not have played Bobby Brown then?
No. More recently, she's gone into musical theatre, specifically playing Evita in Evita.
What musical about let's call it a leader's spouse, would you think would make a good one instead of Evita?
Melania.
That actually would be
interesting.
interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Should we bin this off and just start writing that? Make some money.
Yeah. It'd be like Six, the musical Six.
Yeah.
But it'd be just about Melania. We just call it One.
I mean, we're not going to do it, so by all means, help yourselves.
Yep.
Number 6.
At number 6 this week, that is Scatman John with I'm a Scatman.
Brackets, ski-ba bop, ba-dop bop, close brackets.
Crucial bit of bracket work. I mean, again, I'm going to put this in a similar... It's better than the Out Here Brothers. Are we calling the Out Here Brother out there? Is that going to be...
I don't know who cares.
Better than the Brothers.
Those pricks.
It's got to be Out Here. Don't say that. I'll come round and sort you out, like the Mitchell Brothers.
EastEnders would have been very different if it was the Out Here Brothers
wouldn't it?
running the garage and marrying Sharon.
Well, let's dig into this a bit. I mean, I preferred it to the Out Here Brothers. I have to say, it's similar in tone, isn't it? I liked it. It's got a good sentiment, if you know. It's about, essentially, isn't it, about that not worrying if you have a stutter, because a Scatman's got a stutter. So if you've got a stutter, you're all right because a Scatman, and if a Scatman can do it, then you can.
Yeah, John Larkin, the Scatman, had a stutter when he was a kid.
Right.
And that's why he got into singing scat. I mean, he's 53 when this song hits the charts. But he's had a career of 25 years as a jazz musician in America. And he moves to Germany in the 90s, and a German sort of dance producer meets him and says, we should do a dance record where you do some scatting on it. And that's how this comes about. Yeah. He's very endearing, the Scatman John, when you find out more about him. Sadly, he passed away in 1999.
I don't know anything about him, but what you've said, I'm already heartbroken.
Yeah. His ashes are scattered in Malibu, but not scattered.
For what it is, which is a catchy little song, I particularly like the verse. It says, while you're still sleeping, the saints are still weeping, because things you call dead haven't yet been born.
What?
Deep, isn't it?
Mind is blown by the Scatman. Got a little game we can play here. I'm going to give you the name of a musician. You tell me, did they have a stutter?
Okay.
All right. Start easy. Gareth Gates.
For sure.
Had a stutter, didn't he? Yeah. Famously. John Lee Hooker.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, he did. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith.
There's a bit about stuttering in that song, isn't there? In the Boom Shake the Room, which the Out Here Brothers, was it them?
One of them.
One contributed to. So, Will Smith, yeah, why not?
No, he didn't. No.
Just likes to smack comedians in the face for weak jokes.
Chris Martin. Stutter or not?
Yeah.
Yep. Carly Simon.
I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm thinking about. It's so hard, and it's just a binary choice. I'm looking for little clues in Carly Simon's delivery. I'm going to say no, she's never had one.
No, she was. She was a stutterer. Roger Daltrey.
My generation. Yeah, he's got a stammer.
Nope.
He hasn't.
Noel Gallagher.
I think he had one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark Almond.
Yep.
Yep. Morris Minor and the Majors.
Stutter rap. Well done. I'm going to say they definitely had one, and if you say no, they didn't, it's just a song, I'm going to argue. Yeah, all right.
No, they didn't. It's just a song. It is a banger, though. It's a novelty record, isn't it, Scatman John, essentially?
Well, it's part of a great tradition of scat singing. I mean, Ella Fitzgerald and Cleo Lane and loads of people. I mean, they're obvious examples. I don't know why I'm getting so high-pitched, but no, it's sort of a novelty record, isn't it? But it's linking back to a long tradition of, let's call it, musical genre, as opposed to wiggle it.
It feels like a sort of spiritual successor. Do you remember Dupe by Dupe?
Nope.
Which was like a dance remix of like a 1920s sort of Charleston song.
I've heard similar.
Yeah. That got to number 1 in the charts, and that was all about, here's this old-timey music, and we're going to stick a dance beat behind it, and that's going to be a novelty record and sell loads of copies.
Well, there is something about that old-timey music coming up the charts later on. If you haven't already looked at your Spotify playlist, which I'm hoping you're playing along with, I mean, there's an old jazz record anyway, isn't there? So
without a dance beat stuck on the back of it,
because it's so groovy into itself. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't. It's sort of a novelty record, yet it's also part of let's call it a long tradition of jazz.
Got to number 1 in 11 countries and sold over 1 million copies worldwide. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a biopic of Scatman John is in development.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he must have had such an interesting life.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's a jazz musician. All of a sudden, he has a big Euro dance pop hit in the 90s when he's in his 50s.
We approve, Scatman, and well done us for none of us making the joke about Scatman that we could have done.
Well, we've already talked about the Out Here Brothers. We don't need more filth than this.
Well, that was numbers 10 to 6, but in part 2 of this week's Shooby Doo Wop, we'll be deep diving. Guess what we'll be deep diving, James? We've done 10 to 6. What do you think we're going to do next?
I can't possibly work it out.
It's 5 to 1. And we'll be deep diving the top 5 from the 10th of May 1995. Here's a little taste of what's in store.
Do you remember the great coaster shortage of 1995? That was all anyone was singing about.
There was loads of criticisms, mainly that they were really popular and everyone loved them.
I think it's basically about all those signs you see in middle-aged women's kitchens that say things like, it's wine o'clock.
You can put these records on and everyone's inner idiot comes out when they start dancing.
That's the most Oasis thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Check out our Spotify and YouTube playlists and let us know your thoughts at shoobypodcast@gmail.com. And for the songs that aren't in the top 10, join our Patreon community and become a subscriber.
Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe, follow, share. Email us in for, let's call it passive-aggressive comments and corrections and a celebration of pop music and a little bit of snittiness. Until next time, let's shooby-dooby-doo-up.
Bop bop shoo up.